Literature gives us the opportunity to experience lives, perspectives, and worlds different from our own. Though remember, friend, a good story has many readings, and this is but one. Ooh, with that failed survival save, you've now taken a wrong turn and are separated from your party, and are alone in a damp, lightless cave. With one hand on the wall, you feel your way down, deeper and deeper into the goblin tunnels. Suddenly, you hear a sound of splashing in the darkness, as if something is paddling its way across a lightless pond. Then it speaks, gurgling to itself, excitedly, that you're going to be its next meal. Oh man, this is such a Baggins situation. Baggins, you know, Bilbo Baggins, come on, long wooden pipe, fuzzy woolly toes? The main character of the greatest Leonard Nimoy song everybody knows and J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit? Oh man, Zoe, this is like finding a unicorn. Thanks so much to HelloFresh for helping to bring this story to the table. So you haven't read The Hobbit? First and foremost, I just gotta say, it is my honor to introduce you to one of the books that helped kick off the modern fantasy genre. And since so many games were inspired by Tolkien's world, and you know we're already mid-campaign here, for funsies, let's frame this literary discussion as a role-playing game. You are Bilbo Baggins, a hobbit. You live in a world called Middle-earth, and your starting zone is called the Shire. Miles away from adventure, just as hobbits like it. Also, you have a BFF named Gandalf, who's kinda like your cool hippie uncle, but also is an extremely wise, extremely powerful wizard. One night, Gandalf volunteers your house to a party of dwarves for an important meeting. But he neglects to tell you for some reason, so you are taken completely by surprise. When Dwalin, Balin, Keely, Feely, Dory, Nori, Ori, Oin, Gloin, Bilfer, Bofer, Bumber, and their leader Thorin Oakenshield barge into your home. The dwarves, it turns out, are planning a mission to retake their ancestral home in the Lonely Mountain from a dangerous dragon named Smaug. Gandalf then enthusiastically suggests that you should go along as their burglar, because you know dwarven fighters aren't really known for their stealth. At which point, everyone objects to this plan, including you, because 1, you have no experience in burglaring, and 2, you have no desire to leave your sweet hobbit hole. But then Gandalf rolls a nat 20 on his persuasion check, so off you go. However, Gandalf does not come along because he has stuff to do. Now your route is dangerous, and along the way, you get captured by trolls, wrapped up by giant spiders, and pursued by goblins. Each time, you use your wits to rescue the party. But when battling said cave goblins, you did get separated from the dwarves, which brings us right back to where we started at the beginning of this episode, alone in the dark. However, I did leave out one crucial detail before. As you were feeling your way through the cave, your hand touched something small and round. Ooh, a ring of invisibility. Okay, now, keep it secret, keep it safe, because the creature we mentioned before is now right in front of you. He calls himself Gollum and lets you know that he plans to eat you, which you are against, by the way, but he also agrees to let you go if you can beat him in a game of riddles, which you are super pumped about. Emboldened, you win some contested riddle roll checks, and before Gollum can back out of the deal, you put on your new magic ring and vanish. At least that's what happens in the better-known second edition of The Hobbit, published in 1951. See, in the original, the 1937 version of the book, Bilbo and Gollum simply play their game of riddles, and Gollum cheerfully rewards the Hobbit with the ring. But author J.R.R. Tolkien made this adjustment to make Bilbo's story consistent with the Hobbit sequel, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, where, you know, the ring turns out to be kinda important.
I see you.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Anyway, when writing The Hobbit, Professor Tolkien drew on his great love of classic literature, most particularly the Old English poem Beowulf, along with his personal experiences in World War I. During the war, he witnessed firsthand how the pre-20th century concept of knightly heroism was kinda useless in the face of trench warfare and machine guns. So in The Hobbit, he envisioned a different kind of heroism, one based off perseverance, wisdom, and unity. Classical heroes like Beowulf would solve problems with swords and shields, so Bilbo's heroic wit and compassion was a breath of fresh air in the fantasy genre. You know, much like Mr. Spock's song about the Little Hobbit back in 1967, which I would argue is the pinnacle of human lyricism. Right, sorry, back to Middle-earth. You eventually find your way back to your dwarf friends, and hitch a ride on some giant eagles, who fly you to Lake Town, Lake Town by the foot of the Lonely Mountain, where Smaug is squatting. Then the dwarves send you, their trusty burglar, ahead to case the joint. Of course, you're naturally terrified, but you slowly creep into the dragon's lair, and there behold Smaug, sleeping amongst countless treasures. So you know what better time to show off your leveled up burglary skills than by lifting a little loot. But just as the dwarves are congratulating you on your success, Smaug awakes and realizes that the cup, which he never would have been able to use because 1, too small, and 2, no opposable thumbs, is now missing. Then, as Tolkien himself points out, his dragon being a direct allegory for the rich hoarding wealth and being furious at any small loss, Smaug flies into a rage. And it's at this pivotal moment that the dwarves realize a major flaw in their plan. They actually have no idea how to get rid of a dragon. How did they not think of this before? But figuring Smaug must have an Achilles heel, you sneak back into his lair to gather information. This time, though, you wear your magic invisibility ring, ensuring that there is no way that— oh, wait, he found you.
Well, thief, I smell you and I feel your air. I hear your breath.
Uh-oh. Quick, roll a Dragon Lore check. Nice! You remember that dragons can't resist flattery, so you flatter the heck out of the big lizard. You praise him for his impenetrable scales and ask for a better look. Then, when Smaug shows you his belly, you notice a small section that isn't armored. Interesting. But right as you send this intelligence down to Lake Town, Smaug deduces that the townspeople must have helped you rob him and decides to burninate the whole village. Fortunately, a bowman in Lake Town named Bard the Bowman, yep, seriously, now armed with the knowledge of the dragon's secret weakness and a deadly black arrow, shoots Smaug out of the sky. With the dragon slain, the dwarves retake their ancestral home and all of its riches. But when Bard the Bowman and his elf allies arrive to ask for a portion of the loot to rebuild Lake Town, Thorin is overcome with greed, and not only refuses, but is also willing to go to war to keep all the treasure for himself. You know, you think you know a dwarf. And that's when things get really heavy. The humans, dwarves, and elves nearly go to war over the treasure. That is until a goblin army shows up to try to sack the mountain and they all come together, and Gandalf's pals the giant eagles fly in to join the fray. That's 5 armies in total, my friends. And in the end, after much victory and loss, the dwarves salute your heroism, and Gandalf gives you all a smug, I told you so look. Then, having completed all of your quest objectives, you return to the Shire with a bag of treasure, your magic ring, and unbelievable stories to share with all your Hobbit friends. And back in Earth, that very story became the starting point to the fully fleshed out world of Middle-earth Tolkien crafted in The Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion, complete with histories, indexes, invented languages, and genealogies. And this uniquely rich style of world building became a major influence that inspired artists across countless mediums from when it was written to this day. I mean, it sure as heck influences mine. Ooh, but the best news is, one can simply walk into a local library or bookseller, snag a copy, and roam Middle-earth for oneself, which you totally should. I'm pretty sure you'll be singing its praises for years to come. I know I will. Bilbo Baggins, the greatest little hobbit of them all. Come on, everybody! No? Just me? I'm cool with it. Now hobbits are peace-loving folks, you know. They're never in a hurry and they take things slow. And if you don't like to travel away from home and just want to eat and be left alone, do we have a dragon-sized deal for you from our friends at HelloFresh. You know, it's great that HelloFresh supports our channel because they've been supporting my stomach and saving my schedule for a while now, eliminating stressful meal planning and annoying trips to the grocery store that I do not have time for. They get me everything I need to prepare tasty meals all delivered to my door, and I'm eating in a half hour or less. My most recent favorite being their chicken satay noodle toss, which in spite of its name, made it cleanly to my plate and then into my belly. It was dang good. And since Jeff was hankering for something warm this December, he went with the family-sized sausage rigatoni rosa, which we all loved because as we've established by now, Zoe and I are huge mooches. Tastiness and multilingual cats aside, another thing we really like about HelloFresh is their continued commitment to sustainability. Not only are ingredients pre-portioned, meaning you waste less food, but the carbon footprint of their service is actually 25% smaller than meals made from store-bought groceries. And HelloFresh wants you to experience all of their flavorful feasts for yourself. All you gotta do is go to HelloFresh.com and use the code ExtraCredits14, and you'll get 14 free meals plus 3 free gifts. Once again, for those in the back, you can get free food while supporting our channel, the environment, and your taste buds. Again, that's 14 free meals plus 3 free gifts at HelloFresh.com using the code ExtraCredits14. Buon appetito! A huge thanks to our legendary patrons, O'Reels1, Kyle Murgatroyd, Joseph Blaine, Dominic Valenciana, Casey Muscha, Alicia Bramble, and Ahmed Ziad Turk.